Hi everyone, Nick Giles here again. I've got myth number 3 of my series of 10 that I'm doing here regarding property leasing in New South Wales. And this one is a really important one. And it's to do with pools at properties. And the myth is something like this. I'm a landlord. Please, Mr. Agent, my pool is clean. It's ready to go. Let's get my property leased for me. Well, look, the myth really refers to the general idea of having a pool in an investment property. And I've seen some things happen in groups more recently in the last few months, last few weeks, that really worry me. In Sydney and New South Wales more widely, a lot of the national groups even that I follow as well, there seems to be still, even with what we know, a fairly blasé attitude taken towards having a pool in an investment property. And can I tell you, any agent, or I can tell you particularly any landlord that's been involved or has experienced a death or injury related to a pool in a property will tell you this is anything but something to treat in a light-hearted way. Now, the clauses that cover this in the residential tenancy agreement are clauses 45 and 46, and they refer to exactly what needs to happen when you have a pool in an investment property. And the idea is that you need to have a compliant pool. In other words, all of the regulations around owning a pool and having a pool in a property need to be met. They need to be inspected. You need to have a copy of the valid compliance certificate, which lasts for 3 years, that you also need to issue to your tenant. So it has to exist as the property is leased. And there is a process involved in getting a pool compliant, because it really needs to do with height of fencing, your gate that automatically closes, a series of things. I'm going to put a link in this post to make sure you have an idea of what's required. But this is really something to take very seriously. Your agent should be taking it extraordinarily seriously. If you're saying something along the lines of this myth, that please get my property leased as soon as possible, the first thing that any agent that knows anything about their line of work will tell you that if there's a pool in your property, stop everything, make sure this is in place, that the compliance certificate exists, that it's current. Anyone can check it. The pool register in Wales is something you can check fairly freely. So a tenant can check whether your pool is registered first and then compliant. Registering is not compliance. Guys, it's not. And pools are a serious thing. Now, whether having a pool in investment property is an effective thing to have or not, I don't want to comment too much on that. I suppose the compliance issues might indicate that it's a little bit less, appealing to have a pool in your property. It is a feature, it's a nice thing, but there is a huge amount of, important compliance involved within these two clauses. There is a process involved. That valid compliance certificate, it stays valid for 3 years, so you need to get it renewed as well. To make sure that your pool is at all times okay. And again, I think a bit like smoke alarms, you never want a situation where your tenants in a serious injury or someone passes away at a property. Is a tragedy, a terrible thing, and nobody wins in a situation like that. And it's critical with swimming pools, but it's not just a case of having them clean or aesthetically appealing. This is not the point. The point is compliance, making sure that they are complying with the conditions of the Residential Tenancies Act and the Residential Tenancy Agreement. Your agent will need to appraise you of this. Again, a link is in this post. Please take this seriously. It's a really critical thing if you're a landlord. If you're a tenant, check if the pool's registered. Do you have a copy of the compliance certificate? We don't want kids or families being put at risk because of poor practice, poor investment practice, or poor agency practice around this issue. So that is a myth. So take it seriously, guys. I look forward to having a chat with any of you that are confused about this or need some help. All the best.